Welcome to the deep dive.
Ah!
We're diving into the world of Jada.
Jada.
Yeah, she's a young entrepreneur, and we're going to be looking at her 27th birthday. Our source material is her YouTube video
Right.
called Act Normal Podcast, Episode 6, Happy Birthday, Jada.
Yeah.
So it's like we're getting this little window into her life,
Yeah.
on this really special day. And
It is a fascinating look at,
Yeah.
Somebody at this point in their life where,
Yeah.
like you were saying, not just chronologically, but like, in her career as a mother, just as a person.
yeah, totally. And the video starts off with this incredible surprise party that her friends and family threw for her.
Okay.
They had personalized video messages and decorations and surprise guests, even a pin the Birkin game.
That was interesting.
I know. What'd you think about that?
Well, on the one hand, it's just lighthearted fun. But on the other hand, it's like, Birkin bags, they kind of represent success and luxury, and it's like a nod to how far she's come.
Totally. And you can see how much it means to her. Like when she's watching those video messages, she even gets a little teary-eyed.
Yeah, absolutely.
It just shows you the depth of those relationships with her family and friends.
Yeah, you can just feel that
Yeah.
love and support. It's just radiate off the screen.
It's not just a party, right?
Bro, not at all.
It's so much more.
It's about the people.
And speaking of family, her mom, Miss Trish,
Miss Trish.
she seems like
Legend haircut.
I know. She was talking about how Jada always had this drive to be her own boss,
From the very beginning.
even as a little kid. Do you remember when she mentioned that Jada was selling snacks in high school?
Oh, yeah.
It's like she was always...
Born an entrepreneur.
I know, right? It's amazing to see how, her family really nurtured that. It wasn't just about the money.
Right.
It was the emotional support, too.
Exactly. And it goes both ways because her brother is now an entrepreneur.
Oh, that's right.
And she helped him get started.
Yeah, there's this, beautiful reciprocity there.
Yeah.
They're all lifting each other up and,
That's really heartwarming
I know.
to see that.
It makes you think about, how important family is, especially when you're trying to achieve something big.
Definitely makes a difference.
Oh, and we can't forget about Jada's son, Loyal,
Oh,
who
love
was
him.
stealing the show with his little birthday wishes and his
Yeah.
school go down.
Hilarious commentary.
So cute.
It's great.
It's just this other side of Jada that we get to see.
Mm-hmm.
She's not just this businesswoman.
Right.
She's a mom
A real person.
and a really fun mom.
Yeah, and it shows that no matter how busy she is, she makes time for family.
Totally.
It's a priority.
Okay. And speaking of another important relationship, we got to talk about Destiny, Jada's best friend.
Oh, yeah, those two.
They seem like they have so much fun together.
A real dynamic duo.
I know. They've been through some crazy adventures together, going out in Houston,
Wait, what's something else?
skydiving.
Skydiving, yes.
Can you believe it?
That's pretty wild.
That just shows you how adventurous they are.
It does. And what's interesting is that Jada said she did it to face her fears.
Oh, wow.
She was inspired by her son's fearlessness.
That's so cool how, motherhood has kind of unlocked this, new level of bravery in her.
Pushing her outside her comfort zone.
Exactly. And later on in the video, when she's talking about turning 27, she talks about letting go of negativity and, prioritizing family time.
It seems like a real shift in priorities.
It's she's moving away from that need for, outside approval.
Yeah, focusing on what really matters.
And it's so relatable, right?
Totally. As we get older, we kind of figure out what's truly important.
It's this classic coming-of-age thing.
Exactly.
It's cool to see her finding that balance between, her ambition and her desire to be there for her loved ones.
Yeah, it's not about sacrificing one for the other.
Right.
It's about finding a way to have both.
And she even talks about finding her voice, especially after feeling silenced in the past.
Yeah.
I think she even mentioned PR companies telling her to stay quiet.
Oh, wow.
But now she's embracing vulnerability and authenticity.
Through her podcast, especially.
Yeah. What do you think about that shift?
I think it's amazing. It's like she's taking back her narrative by speaking her truth, even if it's not perfect.
Yeah.
It's powerful, and I think it really connects with her audience.
It makes her so relatable, right?
Definitely. Nobody's perfect, and it's inspiring to see her embrace that.
Totally. But before we dive into the rest of that story, I want to hear from you.
Okay.
What's standing out to you so far in this deep dive? What's piqued your interest the most? I'm curious to hear your thoughts. What's really resonating with you?
Well, I think it's that idea of Jada finding her voice. She's mentioned feeling silenced in the past, but now she's embracing vulnerability and authenticity, especially through her podcast.
Right. Oh, that's a great point. And it actually connects perfectly to another part of the video that we haven't gotten to yet.
All right.
There's this segment called How to Act Normal, where Jada and Destiny answer questions from viewers.
Oh, cool.
And give advice. And it's like this really interesting window into their values.
I see.
And how they approach relationships.
That sounds really interesting.
Yeah. And in this particular episode, the question they're tackling is about navigating like a tricky financial situation at a birthday dinner.
Oh, look what?
So a viewer wrote in about moving to a new city.
Okay.
And being on a tight budget. And then getting stuck with this like huge bill at a coworker's birthday dinner.
Oh.
Because the coworker's family like went all out.
Oh, wow.
So it brings up all these questions about like expectations and friendships.
Right.
Especially around money.
It's a really relatable situation.
Right.
Yeah.
Like how do you balance celebrating someone you care about with like respecting your own financial limitations?
Yeah, especially when there's that social pressure.
It's tough to
say something.
I know. And Jada and Destiny both felt really strongly that the viewer wasn't wrong for refusing to split the bill evenly.
Good for them.
They were like, you got to respect people's financial boundaries.
Absolutely.
And not assume everyone can afford to be extravagant.
It's so important to be mindful of that.
I thought that was so refreshing.
Yeah.
That they didn't shy away from that potential awkwardness. But they gave some really practical advice for dealing with it.
Yeah.
Like with grace and honesty.
It's all about communication, right?
Exactly. They even talked about how they handle things in their own friendship.
Oh, interesting.
Like Jada often picks up the tab.
Okay.
But she makes it clear that she doesn't expect her friends to reciprocate.
That's good, setting expectations.
I know, right?
Yeah, so they've figured out a dynamic that works for them.
Exactly. It shows that like being open about your needs can actually like strengthen the friendship.
It builds trust.
It's not about keeping score, right?
No, not at all.
It's about showing up for each other.
In a way that works for everyone.
In authentic and sustainable ways.
Exactly.
And I think even beyond like the practical advice, this How to Act Normal segment kind of speaks to this larger theme we've seen throughout the video.
Right.
Of Jada's growing confidence and her willingness to set boundaries.
Absolutely. It's like she's really coming into her own.
She's not afraid to say what she thinks or what she needs.
Exactly. And prioritize her own well-being.
Yeah.
It's inspiring to see.
I know. So we've talked a lot about her personal growth.
Yeah.
And her close relationships. And this amazing birthday celebration.
It's been quite the deep dive.
It has. But there's another layer to this video that I think we should explore further.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
It's something that's kind of subtly woven throughout the whole thing.
Right.
You're talking about her entrepreneurial journey, right?
Exactly. It's like this underlying theme.
This is not just a birthday party. It's a celebration of success.
It really is.
We see those glimpses of her ambition, her hustle,
her drive,
her determination to build something of her own.
It's inspiring.
I know. Her mom even mentioned how Jada knew from a young age that she wouldn't work for anyone else.
She had that vision early on.
It's amazing to see how that vision has come to life.
Yeah, and it's not like it happened overnight.
No, definitely not.
It's years of hard work and dedication.
And support from her family.
Absolutely. They play a huge role.
There's this real against the odds feeling to it, too.
Yeah, especially since she's from Savannah.
Right, which she mentions as being a smaller city. And she kind of hints that some people might see that as limiting.
But she proved them wrong.
She did. It's a reminder that you don't have to be in a big city to achieve your dreams.
Exactly. It's about passion and resourcefulness.
And building a strong network.
Wherever you are.
And it's clear that her success isn't just about money.
No, it's more than that.
It's about creating a legacy, building a brand.
And inspiring others.
Yeah, she's using her platform to empower other people.
Especially women.
To pursue their own entrepreneurial dreams.
It's about lifting each other up.
And it's a reminder that success can have a ripple effect.
Definitely. When we see someone like Jada achieving her goals, it can inspire us to believe in ourselves.
Speaking of inspiration, there's this moment near the end of the video that really stuck with me.
Oh, tell me about it.
She's talking about letting go of her ego. And she says this line, "I don't have to dim anybody else's light to make mine shine brighter."
Wow.
It's so simple, but so powerful.
It really is.
It's like this abundance mindset,
Like,
right?
exactly. There's enough success to go around.
Yeah, we don't have to tear each other down to rise.
It's a beautiful sentiment.
It's such a contrast to that, like, competitive, scarcity-driven culture that we often see.
It's a breath of fresh air.
It's a reminder that collaboration can be just as powerful as competition.
I love that.
And that true confidence comes from within.
It's about knowing your worth.
And it ties back to her journey of personal growth. She's learning to define success on her own terms.
Not based on what other people think?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
We've seen her heartwarming birthday celebration, explored her relationships with family and friends.
Yes.
Delved into her reflections on personal growth and aspirations.
It's been fascinating.
And uncovered this like subtext of her entrepreneurial journey.
It's like peeling back layers of an onion.
But before we wrap up, there's one more piece of the puzzle I think we should discuss.
Okay, I'm all ears.
So before we move on to the final part of our deep dive,
Right.
I want to ask you, what's resonating with you the most? What's sparking your curiosity at this point?
Well, I think what's really sticking with me is this idea of redefine success.
Okay.
You know, we often think of it as money or achievements.
Right.
But Jada's story suggests there's something more to it.
I totally agree. And she seems to have it all, right?
She does.
A thriving business, a loving family.
Supportive friends.
But she's still striving for more.
It's not about material possessions, though.
No, it's something deeper.
Yeah, like inner peace.
Yeah.
Self-acceptance.
And creating a life that truly aligns with her values.
Exactly. And she even talked about prioritizing quality time with her family.
I know. She recognizes those moments are more precious than anything else.
It's a real shift in perspective.
It's like a move away from that consumerist mindset.
Yeah, towards a more holistic view of well-being.
And it's refreshing to see that.
Especially in someone like Jada, who's often associated with luxury.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like she's showing us that there's more to life than that.
It's about finding true happiness.
Her story reminds us that success isn't a destination, it's a journey.
And it's a journey that involves inner work as much as outer achievement.
And she's not afraid to admit she's still learning and evolving.
Right.
Remember when she said she was still shedding layers of her ego?
I do. It was a very honest moment.
It makes her so relatable.
It shows that we don't have to have it all figured out to be successful or happy.
And speaking of relatable, there's that hilarious moment when Loyal accidentally reveals her birthday wish.
Oh, yeah. I heard you.
Classic kid honesty.
This is so funny.
She was trying to keep it a surprise.
Bless his heart.
But he couldn't contain his excitement.
It's those little moments that make it real.
It's a reminder that even with the most carefully planned things, life throws in these unexpected twists.
That's life for you.
And they often become the most memorable parts of the story.
They add a little spice.
They do. And it highlights her ability to, like, roll with the punches.
Yeah. She doesn't take herself too seriously.
To laugh at herself.
That's a great quality.
And embrace the chaos.
Which is inevitable.
That's such a valuable skill to have, right?
Definitely. To be present.
To be present.
Appreciate the little things.
Not take ourselves too seriously.
Have a sense of humor.
This deep dive has given us so much more than just a glimpse into one woman's birthday.
It really has.
It's touched on the importance of strong relationships, personal evolution.
Finding joy.
Finding joy amidst the chaos.
It's made me think about my own definition of success.
Me too, and it makes me wonder.
What
are some non-negotiables
Okay.
you think are essential for, like, cultivating truly fulfilling friendships?
That's a great question.
What do you think?
Well, for me, it comes down to authenticity, open communication, and a willingness to support each other's growth.
I love that.
It's about celebrating each other's wins.
Yeah.
Offering a shoulder to lean on during tough times, and allowing space for individual evolution.
What about you? What stands out to you as, like, essential?
You know, I think you really hit the nail on the head. It's about creating a space where you can be your true selves without judgment or pretense.
Without pretense,
Yeah. It's about those deep connections that nourish your soul and inspire you to become the best version of yourself.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, we'll leave you with this. What are your non-negotiables in friendships?
Good question.
And what steps are you taking to nurture those relationships?
Yeah.
And your own personal growth?
Thanks for joining us on the deep dive.
Until next time.
What's really resonating with me is this whole thing about Jada finding her voice. She mentioned feeling silenced before.
Right.
But now it's like she's embracing this like vulnerability and authenticity, especially with her podcast.
And that actually connects perfectly to this other part of the video we haven't gotten to yet.
Okay.
There's this segment called How to Act Normal, where Jada and Destiny answer questions from viewers.
Oh, cool.
And they give advice. And it's like this really interesting window into their values and how they approach relationships.
That's really interesting.
And in this particular episode, they're tackling this question about how to navigate this tricky financial situation at a birthday dinner.
Oh, like what?
So a viewer wrote in about moving to a new city.
Okay.
And being on a tight budget. And then getting stuck with this huge bill at a coworker's birthday dinner.
Oh.
Because the coworker's family went all out.
Wow.
Yeah. So it brings up all these questions about expectations and friendships.
Right.
Especially around money.
It's a really relatable situation.
Right.
Yeah.
How do you balance celebrating someone you care about?
Yeah.
But also respecting your own financial boundaries.
It's hard when there's that social pressure.
Yeah.
To say something.
And Jada and Destiny were both adamant that the viewer wasn't wrong.
Yeah.
For refusing to split the bill evenly.
Yeah, I mean...
They really emphasize that respect for boundaries.
Yeah, it's so important.
And not assuming that everyone can afford to be extravagant.
Especially these days.
It's so refreshing.
It is.
That they didn't shy away from that awkwardness.
Yeah.
But they gave some really practical advice.
It's all about communication.
Yeah. And they even talked about how they handle things in their own friendship.
Oh, interesting.
Jada often picks up the tab.
Okay.
But she makes it very clear that she doesn't expect her friends to reciprocate in that same way.
That's good.
So they figured out this dynamic that works for them.
Yeah, it's about finding that balance.
It's based on mutual understanding and respect.
And trust.
Right. Which I think is such a great example of how being open about your needs and expectations can actually strengthen a friendship.
Yeah, it's not about keeping score.
Exactly.
It's about being there for each other in a way that works for everyone.
In authentic and sustainable ways.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think even beyond the practical advice, this How to Act Normal segment speaks to this larger theme we've been seeing.
Okay.
Of Jada's growing confidence and her willingness to set boundaries.
Absolutely. She's really coming into her own.
She's not afraid to say what she thinks and what she needs.
Exactly. And prioritize her well-being.
So we've talked a lot about her personal growth.
Yeah.
And her close relationships, and this amazing birthday celebration.
It's been quite a journey.
But there is another layer to this video that I think we should explore.
Okay, I'm listening.
It's something that's kind of subtly woven throughout this whole celebration.
All right, I'm intrigued.
I think you know what I'm talking about.
Are you talking about her journey as an entrepreneur?
Yes. This video isn't just a birthday party. It's a celebration of success.
It really is.
We see these glimpses of her ambition.
Yeah.
Her hustle.
Her drive.
Her determination to build something of her own.
It's inspiring to watch.
Her mom even talked about how she knew from a young age that she wouldn't work for anyone else.
She had that vision.
Yeah, and it's amazing to see how that vision has come to life.
It's not an overnight success story, though.
No, definitely not.
It took years of hard work and dedication.
And a lot of support from her family.
They played a huge part.
And it's got this real against the odds feel to it.
Yeah.
Especially because she's from Savannah.
Right.
And she mentions how some people might perceive that as limited.
But she proved them wrong.
She did. It's a reminder that you don't have to be in a big city to achieve your dreams.
Yeah. It's about passion and resourcefulness.
And building a strong network.
Wherever you are.
And it's clear that her success isn't just about money.
No, it's much more than that.
It's about creating a legacy, building a brand.
Inspiring others.
Yeah, and she's using her platform to empower other people.
Especially women.
To pursue their own entrepreneurial dreams.
It's so important.
It's a reminder that success can have a ripple effect.
It can. When we see someone like Jada achieving her goals, it makes us believe that we can do it too.
Speaking of inspiration, there's this moment near the end of the video that really stuck with me.
What was that?
She's talking about letting go of her ego. And she says, I don't have to dim anybody else's light to make mine shine brighter.
Wow, that's a good one.
I know. So simple, but so powerful.
It really is.
It's all about that abundance mindset, right?
Exactly. There's enough success to go around.
We don't have to tear each other down to rise.
It's a beautiful way to look at things.
It's such a contrast to that, competitive, cutthroat, scarcity-driven culture.
It's a breath of fresh air.
And it's a reminder that collaboration can be just as powerful as competition.
And that true confidence comes from within.
It's about knowing your own worth.
Exactly.
And it ties back to her journey of personal growth.
Mm-hmm.
She's learning to define success on her own terms.
Not based on what other people think.
Exactly. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
We've seen Jada's heartwarming birthday celebration, explored her relationships with family and friends.
It's been fascinating.
Delved into her reflections on personal growth and aspirations.
Really insightful.
And uncovered this subtext of her entrepreneurial journey.
Like peeling back the layers of an onion.
But before we wrap up, there's one more piece of the puzzle I think we should discuss.
All right, lay it on me.
But before we move on to that final part of our deep dive,
okay,
I want to ask you, what's resonating with you the most?
That's a good question.
What's sparking your curiosity?
I think what's really sticking with me is this whole idea of redefine success.
Oh, yeah.
We often think of it as money.
Right, or like achievements.
Exactly. But Jada's story shows us there's something more.
I completely agree. And she seems to have it all.
She does.
Like a thriving business, a loving family.
Supportive friends.
But she's still striving for more.
It's not about material possessions, though.
No, it's deeper than that.
It's about inner peace and self-acceptance.
And creating a life that aligns with your values.
Exactly. And, she talked about prioritizing family time.
I know, and she recognizes those moments are more valuable than anything.
It's a real shift in perspective.
It's like moving away from that consumerist mindset.
Yeah, towards a more holistic view of well-being.
It's so refreshing to see.
It is, especially from someone in her position.
Right. It's like she's showing us there's more to life than that.
It's about finding true happiness.
Her story reminds us that success isn't a destination. It's a journey.
It's a journey with inner work just as much as outer achievements.
And she's not afraid to say she's still on that journey.
Right. She's still learning and growing.
Remember how she said she's still shedding layers of her ego?
That was a really honest moment.
I know, it's what makes her so relatable.
It shows us that we don't have to have it all figured out to be successful.
Or happy. And speaking of relatable, remember that moment when Loyal accidentally reveals her birthday wish?
Oh my gosh, yes. I heard you.
That kid, honesty.
I love it.
She was trying to keep it under wraps, but
he just couldn't help himself.
It's those little moments that make it real.
They really do.
It's a good reminder that even with the best laid plans,
yeah,
life throws in those unexpected twists.
That's life.
And they often become the most memorable parts.
Yeah, absolutely. And it highlights her ability to just go with the flow.
Yeah.
Laugh at herself.
Not take it too seriously.
Embrace the chaos.
That's a great quality.
It's a valuable skill, right?
Definitely. To be present.
To be present.
Appreciate the little things.
And not take ourselves too seriously.
Yeah.
This deep dive has been so much more than just about one woman's birthday.
It has.
It's touched on the importance of relationships.
Yes.
Personal evolution.
Finding joy in the chaos.
It makes you think about your own definition of success, doesn't it?
It really does.
And it makes me wonder, what do you think are some non-negotiables for cultivating truly fulfilling friendships?
Well, for me,
it
really comes down to authenticity.
Okay.
Open communication. And a willingness to support each other's growth.
I love that.
It's about celebrating the wins.
Yeah.
Offering support during the tough times, and allowing space for each other to grow.
It's about those deep connections that nourish your soul. Exactly.
And inspire you to become the best version of yourself.
Absolutely.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with this. What are your non-negotiables for friendship?
Good question.
And what steps are you taking to nurture those relationships and your own personal growth?
Thanks for joining us on the deep dive.
Until next time.
What's really sticking with me is this whole thing about redefine success.
Yeah.
We often think of it as like money and achievements and stuff.
Right, right.
But Jada's story's kind of showing us that there's more to it than that.
Yeah, I totally agree. And it's like, she seems to have it all, right?
She does.
She's got a successful business, a loving family, supportive friends.
That's true.
But she's still looking for something more.
And it's not about like bigger houses or fancy cars or anything like that.
No, it's like something deeper.
Yeah.
Like she even talks about wanting to prioritize quality time with her family.
Exactly.
And recognizing that those moments are like more precious than any material possession. It's like a shift away from that like consumerist mindset.
Yeah, it's more about a holistic view of well-being.
Totally.
And it's refreshing to see that.
Especially from someone in her position. It's like she's showing us that there's more to life than all that stuff.
There really is.
And that success isn't just this like end goal.
Yeah.
It's a journey.
It's a process, yeah.
And it involves like inner work just as much as those outer achievements.
Absolutely. And she's not afraid to admit that she's still on that journey.
Yeah. And she's still learning and growing.
Which is inspiring.
I know. Remember that part when she said she was still shedding those layers of her ego?
Oh, I loved that part.
It's so real, right?
It is. It makes her so relatable.
It shows that you don't have to have it all figured out to be successful or happy.
Not at all.
Ooh. And speaking of relatable.
What?
Remember that part where Loyal accidentally reveals her birthday wish?
Oh my gosh, yes. When he goes, I heard you.
I know. It's that classic kid honesty.
It's too
It's those little moments that just make it so real.
Yeah.
You know?
They really do.
And it's a good reminder that even with like the best laid plans,
Right.
life throws in those little curveballs.
Yeah.
And often those become like the most memorable parts.
Me too.
And it just highlights her ability to like roll with the punches, laugh at herself, and just embrace the chaos.
That's a great quality.
So this deep dive has given us so much more than just this glimpse into one woman's birthday.
It has.
And we've talked about strong relationships, personal evolution.
Finding joy amidst the chaos.
And I think it makes us all kind of reflect on our own definitions of success.
It really does.
So as we wrap up,
Yeah.
I want to leave you with this question.
Okay.
What are your non-negotiables when it comes to friendships?
Ooh.
And what steps are you taking to nurture those relationships and your own personal growth?
Those are good questions to think about.
Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive.
Until next time.